Back again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But I'm back here again. Uh, yeah. This is for part two of Grace Randolph. Okay. Part two. And look at this. Oh, I gotta delete this on YouTube. Excuse me. I'm gonna go on my YouTube channel. The stream is still up for my. Oh, I feel bad too. I'm sorry. I really feel bad about this. I was just. I mean, I gotta manage this. I gotta delete the stream. Yeah. So yeah, we did about halfway of Grace Randolph. Here's blinded.
What's up? What's up? Give me
I
1 second.
I gotta delete my video off YouTube, live stream off YouTube. Delete forever. There we go. Oh man. Oh yeah. Okay, he'll be back. So yeah, I think we're about halfway down. 14 minutes of Grace Randolph. Yeah, I knew we're not gonna get as much. No, Grace Randolph. Okay. And yeah, I'm just gonna bring up the stage. Yeah, we're about here, I think, where we ended it. See, they all left. They all left. They all left. I want Degrassi in here. That's what I want. Maybe bring Degrassi in here.
Okay, I'm back now.
Oh yeah,
Sorry about that.
okay. I want to see what Degrassi wants to get in here. Um, I don't know what he's up to. Like I'll say this about the Captain America thing. One of it was never planned trailer today. One of it was never planned. Is there this
Um, I
possible?
mean, could that be possible? I guess. I
Here's the
mean,
thing. Here's the thing. Sometimes reliable sources get things wrong.
yeah. I mean, also too. I mean, the reliable source. Maybe they thought, hey, I could trick people because I got one thing right. I mean, you never know. But I don't know. It's a shame. I really want to see the trailer. You know, they delayed this movie. We don't really know what it's gonna be about. Um, I want to see some of it. So yeah.
It was kind of suspicious to release both trailers in the same month, though.
Um, I don't know if it was suspicious. I think, I mean, they're promoting what they got after Deadpool. I mean, you would
You
want to
know,
put a Captain America. Now that I think about it, wouldn't you want to put a Captain America trailer in front of Deadpool?
uh,
You know, that
maybe
that movie might. Yeah, I mean, Captain America
Marvel.
could get a boost from Deadpool.
Sure, sure.
Let me go check the subreddit on Marvel to see what they're saying. Uh, the Marvel spoilers subreddit. But no. Um,
Anything?
no, I mean Daniel RPK is also backed it up saying the trailer is gonna drop tonight. That was 11 hours
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, but
Let me see what.
I checked his account like on X. He said that no longer today. Sorry, guys.
Oh shit.
And Grace, who we're gonna do this on again, part two, says, "Go to sleep, y'all." She kind of hinted at it 10 hours ago. So the SBs are tonight. So she kind of hinted something big.
Yeah, the guy who got the Agatha trailer, he's saying seems it like it got delayed. Sorry guys. Yeah, shit was never. Some was the top comment on here is laugh my fucking ass off. This shit was never releasing today. I mean,
I could believe
uh,
that.
I mean, maybe, yeah. That's funny. Scooping is so cooked. I mean, yeah, I know. I feel like maybe they could have been trapped or whatever, but uh man. That's a shame. Also, I think Deadline confirmed that
Oh, and they retracted
uh
it.
oh, they retracted it because I guess it was a spoiler, right?
Yeah, yeah, because he wasn't in the trailers, any of the trailers at all.
No, but I guess I mean, is it that big of a surprise that he's gonna be in the movie? He
No,
was in Doctor Strange. I mean, like, you know,
no, his sister's in the film. Like what? What? Like seriously? Like
yeah.
his sister's the main villain of the
So
film.
yeah, that was like, man, that was really um. It's hold on, let me see if there's any other news. I still haven't read. I mean, yesterday was Wednesday, bunch of comics, comics day. The X-Men relaunch came out. I didn't get to read it. I'm not a fan of the art in that book. The Beast looks ugly as fuck.
Hey, have you heard this? Marvel
But
Animation is not going Comic Con. They're doing D23.
yeah, I did hear about that. They're gonna show like I guess season 3 of What If.
What if? Um,
Um,
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and they're gonna talk
yeah,
X-Men '97 season two.
season 2, yeah. And I think they also said Eyes of Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's, you know, something to look forward to. I'm not a fan of What If. What If season 2 was so bad. So I'm not looking forward to that. But
Yeah. All right. I guess. Oh, what happened? Where did he go?
yeah, I was confused. I was still talking. I was like, what the hell? I dropped out. It's weird. Um, I was gonna say the DC line, the Ultimate line that they're releasing in uh, October. There was another leak, and apparently the Batman book is going to be about Batman. If Batman was, part of the working class, so he's
Mm,
not going to be rich. The Superman book was described as he's more alien than human in terms of his appearance. Wonder Woman is essentially going to be like a Tomb Raider comic, and the Flash comic is going to be about Wally West, and his origin story is going to be separate from Barry's. So, and unfortunately, another piece of news came out about DC Comics is that they are on the decline compared to Marvel, which I said. I said DC's not doing so good in comic books, and
no.
I know, yeah, some people didn't like me saying that, but that's the truth. So, and now they came out and said it themselves. So,
Well, they're
yeah.
trying another thing to boost
Oh,
sales.
I don't think they came out and said it themselves. Hold on, let me just. Yeah, their market share like declined, dipped below 20%. Um, Marvel has like pretty much like a 40% market share. But yeah, DC not looking good, man. I mean, they're still above the competition, but you know,
Yeah.
not good.
All right.
That's not
All
good.
right. Do I have this volume up? Okay, we ended about here, right? Halfway, 14 minutes.
I think so.
All right.
I might, yeah, yeah. Let's go.
Message. And again, for a show that's about being progressive, the big conclusion is that in order to not make OSHA upset, right, they decide to let the man that killed her mother and left her sister to die lie to her, vilify that sister, and then raise her himself. This is like those crazy stories you hear on
I,
social.
um, hmm.
Vilify. He did or dies. Like
I mean,
there's.
the thing is, he did vilify the sister because, yeah, he was like saying in early episodes that it was kind of May's fault.
Hmm.
Like with the fire, and
But the
I
thing
mean,
is,
in the flashback 2 episode, that was
he
kind
did
of the
not
case.
The thing is, well, he still think because he thought it was May's fault with the fire because he didn't see May was trying to. Well, it technically is May's fault with the fire. She did put the book on fire. She didn't, but she
Well,
didn't do it on
yeah,
purpose.
she
So
didn't do it on purpose. However, remember what I said, that line where May goes, "I'm gonna kill you now." That
yeah,
was not true. That didn't happen.
no,
So that means that episode is from Osha's perspective, and maybe she believed that that's what the sister wanted because that's what Saul was telling her. So, um, I think she's partly right
but
about
Paul
this.
wasn't there.
It's a little bit
So he's
it
lying.
is kind of fucked up to vilify the little girl. It should have he probably should have been like, this was like your mother's fault. Like the mother was the one that like attacked the Jedi and they didn't know
No,
how to respond because that's what the mother
no, it was
did. What
actually it
what
was
would
the
how
mother
can you explain what
before
the
the
mother did?
remember before they she detected Jack, the mother told May to lock up Osha. Remember, the
Yeah.
mother told May that the May to keep Osha trapped here, and then it will take out the Jedi so they can't take Osha with them.
Oh, really? Hold on. I completely forgot about that.
Remember.
Because then it makes the mother look even more like when she says that line.
Yeah, remember
The
she
line
was.
of, "Oh, I was gonna give her up to you." No, you
It's the
weren't. That's
it's the
fucking
it's the other
bullshit.
mother. It's the other mother. The one that's like hostile, very hostile. She's
Oh, right. Okay.
the one that told yeah. The one yeah, not the
Okay,
one that
never
gives up
not the
Osha.
one who gets stabbed.
No, the other one
No,
who
okay. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I retract that then, yes. But it's still stupid what that other mother did.
Yeah.
Because it's just yeah. But anyway, let's continue.
Social media, like someone posted on Reddit, "Am I the Jedi asshole?" And you're like, that can't be true.
By the way, that
You must
subreddit
have
is
made that
fake
up
as
because that's
fuck.
just too stupid.
Hmm.
Am I the asshole? It's usually it's full of like creative writers who come up with bullshit and try to see how many upvotes they can get. So yeah, just saying.
See what happens when we don't talk about Captain America. We get nobody.
Damn,
say, say something.
it's all right. It's just me and you. Let's stick it out.
Yeah. All right. Maybe we'll get something on the finale.
But
Okay.
like, that's how insane it is. Now, I saw some people saying, "Well, what was Saul to do? He couldn't hold up both ends of the bridge, the collapsing bridge. He had to choose one of the twins." And I saw some other people counter, I believe correctly, that why did he have to hold the bridge up? Why didn't he just hold up these two little kids? I mean, that would be much easier to do. And he already held up Osha earlier in the show when she almost fell. Maybe he
That
learned his
is
lesson.
true. That
I
is
guess
true.
Obi-Wan did do that in the Obi-Wan show. When Princess Leia was falling, he did kind of save her from hitting the ground. The Force.
Right, that is true. I mean, yeah,
He,
that's a good point. I mean, but this is what I mean when the writing gets a little bit sloppy, right, in the show because
was it?
it's like there's certain things where you're like, yeah, like
I,
would that really happen? Like, couldn't you find another way to explain it or do something? The whole bridge
I
falling, I feel like, I don't know,
the
didn't work
problem
out.
with the problem with us people, we try to apply too much logic into shows and movies, like in real life. Like
Yes, yeah, I mean I agree, but at the same time, the thing is, if he can make that maneuver, why not use that maneuver, right? I feel like they
and
should
this,
have
yeah,
maybe construct the it should have been more of like a choice where he had to save one or the other, and he just so happens to pick OSHA instead of it being like, well, I can easily have
it's it's
levitated them and hold them in the air.
it's better to
Maybe he could
save.
have done that, and then he couldn't hold on long enough, and then one of them, they both
Yeah.
drop, and he grabbed the first one, right? Maybe they could have done that. I
Well,
don't
he
know.
kind of did let Otha drop. That's why she had to grab his hand. Like he did lose his grip. Uh, he did kind of let May go, but he couldn't hold on to Osha either. And so when Osha
Right.
fell, remember he caught her. So
Yeah,
she
he
didn't really
did caught her. Yeah.
he didn't really technically he saved her, but it's not. But he didn't like he still could have failed in saving her because he lost his grip still. And
Right. I mean, I think what she's saying here, I think, I think that's fair. I mean, they could
yeah,
have constructed this scene or this moment better,
all
so
right.
it feels, because I mean, it is kind of weird that he is more gravitated toward OSHA, and I wonder if that's going to be explained. Like, I understand that, yes, the in the episode there's supposed to be one, right? And then he mistakes May as for OSHA. But you really have to wonder again, it's like when he first sees May and OSHA, it's like that's where he starts to have like some bonding with OSHA, which is a little bit weird because in that scene it's like, okay, yeah, just because he sees May antagonizing some little bug or butterfly or whatever, that doesn't mean that she's like, a bad person, right? Like,
Because
I
it's
don't
an
know.
animal.
I don't know that. I think the first impression wasn't great.
Here's
I
the
think
thing.
there
Here's the
needed to
thing.
be a little bit more.
I think a lot of us had fun squishing bugs when we were young.
I don't know.
Like,
I
I
hate
mean, like
bugs.
we stepped on ants, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I stepped on
It's
ants. Yeah.
it's really when we got to the animals where if you see like like how people's signs of the serial killers are signs of serial killers. You know how they start
Yeah.
with the younger with animals first, right?
Yeah, that's
Cats.
messed up when
If
you
you see that, yeah, then there's something to worry about with May. If she was like,
right. Yeah, if it was, I guess so. I mean, it also what it was like a butterfly, right? I don't think kids are like squashing butterflies.
yeah, butterflies, I
Uh,
agree. That kind of bug, yeah, because butterflies are usually mostly beautiful bugs to see.
right.
But
So it's
then,
a little bit weird to
yeah,
I don't know. Uh anyway, I guess we can continue.
yeah. Uh,
And he was like, that would have been at least it would have been really like crazy, but at least it would have made sense. Where he was like, I learned back then, hold the person up, not what they're standing on. And you're like, well, at least you've grown, Saul. And then
I guess,
they had
yeah,
a
I
pop
guess.
song over the end credits, and it was like some James
I didn't
Bond
even hear
Acolyte
this.
theme song, like
no,
about the power of two. Which, by the way,
The power of
they've
two.
never shown the power of these two. I mean, I get except for I guess the fact they made Brendock blossom. You're like, what can you guys do? And they're like, so far we've
Yeah,
shown
also
absolutely
by the
nothing, but we're
way,
going to sing a
the
song.
whole like power of one and power of two and the power of many, that was obviously fucking bullshit. Cause they all died.
yeah,
like the whole power of many and let's hold hands and try to take down the Jedi and then they all instantly die. I mean, that's what I mean. I had no sympathy for the witches whatsoever. It almost felt like they they kind of did this to themselves. And I get that, yeah, the Jedi were kind of there to like take the girl, but at the same time, I don't know if the girl wanted to go and the mom was like, yeah, I would have let her gone. Because the thing is, the people are like, hey, we can't let them go with the Jedi, right?
no.
The other witches. But it's not really explained well enough, I feel like. Like I feel like they should have had a little bit more reasons like, hey, we can't send them off because they're destined to do so and so, right?
They're supposed
Or
to
hey,
lead, I
we're
think.
supposed to, yeah, they're supposed to, but they didn't say that. That wasn't one of the reasons. They're like, no, you have to listen to us because you're our leader, right? And you have to listen to your people. And then the mother's like, "Well, I'm gonna pick being a mother first instead of your
Yeah.
leader." And you're like, face palm. I mean, like, couldn't you do both? I mean, I don't understand. Like, you could tell them, "Hey, we're making this decision based on so and so." But I don't know. I wanted a little bit more explanation of what the witches were doing and what purpose they served on that planet and a little bit more explanation. That's what I mean with the show. It's like I want to see a little bit more development, scenes where there's some back and forth dialogue and getting to understand the everybody's position because it almost feels like the show it's like the show sets up all these characters and yet we don't have enough time to really dissect them each, and
Mm.
even Saul as a character I feel like needed a lot more time. especially in the current day. We didn't really get to see um how how sorry. We didn't really get to see his relationship grow with OSHA. Sorry about that. I was getting a
Oh,
message. But yeah. Um
during the
so
years he
yeah.
trained her, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we it would have been better if we got to see her train OSHA and see them like eventually break apart, because I feel like that also, never underestimate development and like visual development of like actually seeing a relationship grow, and then like and then it gets destroyed or it ends, because then I think there's more, we have more sympathy for them. And
Hmm.
I don't think the show did a good enough job of setting up Soul and OSHA's relationship. I also think, how come OSHA was so attached to being a Jedi but not May? Like, is it because one is closer to the light side and the other's closer to the dark side?
I think maybe it's just that maybe Ultra just has maybe Ultra is just one of those thinks outside the box, wants to see what the world is like, the galaxy. Where May is more like, no, we shouldn't. I think it's this. I think
Hmm.
it's how I think maybe Ultra questions. May is definitely installed with the Coven's belief system, right? Their belief system. She heavily believes in their system. I think Osha, it's kind of like you blinded. If you live in a family that's very narrow minded,
Right.
but there's this one child that wants to see what's out there that's bigger than more out there, right? It's kind of like that, you know. I think that's
Hmm.
what Osha felt like, and that's what I think Osha was like. There's more to that
Yeah,
out there.
I kind of wish they would show that instead of like
Yeah,
just saying, have this little girl just keep repeating, I want to be a Jedi, I want to be a Jedi. It's kind of like, when actually, what they should have done, maybe, because this is what I first thought was going on, but we see OSHA was the one who was out there playing with the butterfly, and then May comes up. Maybe what they should have done was OSHA actually meets Soul in
yeah.
that moment, and she's like, whoa, what are you? And then he shows her the lightsaber, and they actually have some bonding. And then you're like, and then May comes and he has to hide, and then he sees May as more like aggressive toward OSHA, like, why did you
Hmm.
run away? And you're gonna get us in trouble, and blah blah blah. You're always like, to
But you know
show that
what's
she's more
open
like
minded?
open-minded and exploring.
Yeah,
And then we also see that's why Soul has some connection with her, because he sees, oh, she's force sensitive and she doesn't even know what the Jedi are. And so he's kind of like showing her a little bit until they're interrupted. That's what I mean. The show needs more of things like that, where you're showing the visuals, you're showing the relationship grow, and then we have a better attachment for them. It's like, oh, he was showing her things that the mother was hiding, and so now there's like some conflict there, where it's like, even though she's the mother, she's not really teaching them about what the universe has in store for them.
hmm,
Because I don't know. Like I said, the show, I think, will, even though with the last episode, it's going to stay at a 6 out of 10 for me. um Even though I think there are some good parts to it, I think they have a really interesting idea to play with Star Wars, but it's not very well executed in the writing department. The writing is what makes this show suffer the most. And writing the characters and some of the dialogue just doesn't work. It's just,
yes.
overall, it needed a lot more of that conflict to, butting heads, allowing some of these characters to have.
What the show has, it's good visuals and good action scenes. Like,
Yeah, it does have that. Yes, it does. That all the like technical aspect, it's fine. Like, it's not subpar. The production design is still pretty decent. Like, yeah, it's not like The Mandalorian. I think The Mandalorian has like a bigger scope to it. It feels like a movie sometimes. in terms of the locations and how they're traveling so frequently in an episode. Here, they're usually stick on one planet for a couple of episodes. I mean, we were on that planet um, for quite some time until the previous episode, episode 6. That's when they left that planet. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think I I don't know. I just like I was saying, the show is a bit of a mixed bag, and the fact that one side is just so rabid against it, and then you have this other side who I don't really understand the like how it's like overwhelming praise on the positive side. Like you would think maybe people would be like, yeah, it's kind of it's a decent show. It's not like the greatest Star Wars show, but it's decent. But no, it's always got to be this is the worst thing ever or this is the greatest thing ever. There's never some like in between or like some scale, you know. But yeah, let's continue.
Yeah.
About it. And you're like, what? Like, that's so weird. We still don't even know how they were even created. And to be honest, at this point, I don't care.
I don't think
I'm like,
we're gonna know that.
Well, they just said divergent. That's how they were created. Like it was
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think
it's
that's
the
the most we'll get from that.
people they understand force. The force of Star Wars is the magic. It's magic. Force is magic in Star Wars.
Yeah, you probably don't want to explain it, but
Yeah.
I mean, given that so many Star Wars fans are like complaining about how doesn't this ruin Anakin and blah blah blah, I think people were expecting it to be explained, but they kind of gave us an explanation,
Yeah,
So
yeah. Right? Well, Anakin had a religious and have religious kind of uh it was
yeah,
for a religion thing, Anakin.
right. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it undercuts Anakin. I mean,
No, it doesn't. No.
I
We
don't
don't
know.
know
I
why.
never really understood that point that
We don't
people were
know
trying to
we don't
make.
know how like how Anakin was born because he never had a father. He
Right. And they were and another thing that I don't like about Anakin supposedly being the chosen one personally is
he
if
wasn't
he
chosen.
was yeah, he really isn't the chosen one. I mean, if he was, I mean, like he only got redeemed when he died. I
I
mean,
don't. There isn't really
like
a chosen one. Not even Luke is the chosen one.
nah, yeah, they should not introduce that concept. Like just let
Yeah,
it be possible that there can be other people who are just like born randomly by the force or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah,
Like who really cares? I don't like the whole point of Anakin's story isn't that oh he was like some virginless birth, right? Like or virgin birth, whatever you want to call it. No, it was the fact that he was like a prodigy who eventually turned to the dark side and you see his fall. That's what the
yeah.
story is. It's not about the beginning of that, when we first are introduced to him. I don't know. It's weird. That's why I don't consider myself like a hardcore Star Wars fan because I don't agree with any of the stuff they say. But anyway, let's continue.
I'm done with this story, right? So let's just all I want for the final episode is to save Qimir. Save Qimir, send him on his
But
way, get him
why?
out of here. I don't think they should renew the Acolyte for season 2. I think they should.
I think she has a crush on him after that episode 6.
He's
That was,
he's but he's vital to the story because he's a parallel to Saul or Soul.
yeah,
So I don't know. You're gonna like get rid of everybody else, but he's really I feel like he's a foil to Soul because the
yeah.
whole
Because
point.
He wants to be the master of Osha, right? And Soul was her master. Like,
Yeah, like there's parallels between the two, and I feel like
yeah,
I don't think Qimir would work in another show. I don't think it would be that interesting. I think he's interesting here. I still think personally, I think they should have never gone with the red lightsabers and the whole wearing the mask and everything. I think it should have been a little bit different, a different sort of approach where that was also a mystery within itself. Like that's another problem I have with the show is like when I first saw the trailer and we see Qimir, like the whole mystery of who did this, it was kind of like, well, who else would do it, right? It was the Sith. And I don't think they market it that well, in my opinion. Like I wasn't intrigued by the trailers at all. The only reason why I watched it was out of curiosity. Because in all honesty, I was not gonna watch the show. Like I just didn't like the trailers at all. But I stuck with it because I mean, yeah, it was such a weird conversation. But Qimir as a character, I think they should have played up more that angle of he's not really a Sith. You know, like he doesn't look like a traditional Sith. He doesn't have the red lightsabers. You know, make it more ambiguous. So then when he is attacking the Jedi, it's kind of like, oh shit, we've never seen this before. Like this guy who, I mean, is he a Jedi? Is he not a Jedi? But then when he's like, oh yeah, you know, some may call me a Sith, then you're like, oh, is he a Sith? Is he?
Mhm.
I think the show needed some
Well,
ambiguity, you know.
if you watch Ahsoka, Wade Stevens' character was not exactly Sith per se, but it's very similar.
What was that? I
Wade
never seen
Stevens'
Ahsoka.
Wade
Okay,
Stevens' character was like had red lightsabers, was not a Jedi anymore. Was he used to be a Jedi and had kind of an apprentice of his own, but it didn't specifically say there were Siths.
right.
Yeah. Let's see what else.
To make Qimir season 1. That's what I want. I mean, hopefully, if they don't ruin him and with the one episode left.
Well, let's be honest. What is he want to Qimir season 1? Is it because of the episode 6, the beginning? I actually
Yeah,
saw
I
the
mean, what we haven't seen this character do much besides the fight,
and
which yeah,
talk.
he looks talk he yeah, and he basically have that whole monologue that he gives to fucking Soul. I keep always saying
Well, she calls him
Soul,
Saul.
Saul.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know, like the character looks cool. But is he a character who can hold his own show? I don't think so. You know, like I think we would. I don't know. I feel like maybe they can have some comics, see if people latch onto him. But I wouldn't. If I was like Kathleen Kennedy, I wouldn't greenlit no Qimir show.
No. I mean, if you want to green it, I guess it's for the ladies because all they're talking about episode 6 was not really the important stuff. It was more about him in the water.
I don't know.
That's
They're uh,
yeah. Like, was that necessary? Have him just
no, no, it really wasn't. I mean, it's eye candy, whatever. Like you're
yeah,
talking about him shirtless and stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it. I don't know. I'm not bothered
I
by that
mean,
stuff, but
it happens in Marvel and comic book heroes all the time.
yeah.
They man have the shirt off because they try to attract a female audience, even though the majority of the audience doesn't see this stuff for male.
Well, they also kind of wanted him to be cuz she said this in another video and I did look this up. What's the show? Leslie Headland, that's the showrunner. She
Yeah,
said that one of like the main inspirations of the show was the line that Obi-Wan says in A New Hope, where he says, sorry, was it Vader or your father, whoever it was seduced by by the dark side. And she said, oh, it was kind of
A
weird that
New
he said
Hope.
seduced.
Oh,
Yeah,
it has to be father because
yeah, his father then.
it had to be father because he didn't say that Vader was his father until the next
Right,
episode.
yeah, I know that, but I didn't know if it was Vader, if he
He
said
didn't say
Vader
no.
was
No, he
seduced
didn't
by the
say
dark side, but
he didn't say in New Hope that that Vader was
okay, it was just your father. He was talking to Luke.
yeah. He never
Okay,
mentioned his father was Vader till um
right,
I
right.
think Return of the Jedi.
Right, right. I know that. I just didn't remember what the
Yeah.
line is, right?
Okay.
Exactly. But yeah, so she was saying that line was she thought it was interesting that someone could be seduced by the dark force. It wasn't like, oh, you were compelled or like,
But they had to go
you were
shirtless to be seduced to the dark side.
yeah, that's what I think that she's trying to get at is like, yeah, this guy is kind of like, he's kind of hot. And so
hitting
that's
on
why
he's
she's
hitting on
like,
others.
yeah, and then so it's like, like I guess she would be attracted to that idea. And I'm like,
But then
okay, yeah, that's an interesting idea. That makes sense.
here, let me take my shirt off. I mean, that didn't work on Way.
No, it didn't work on Ray, but Ray's kind of weird, let's be honest.
Yeah, I
But I mean, yeah, if you're seduced by the dark side, I mean, it's an interesting idea because I feel like, yeah, people are seduced by the dark parts of themselves, and what they
it's
see
what
in other people
it's what he
too.
says about the dark side is what got her attention. It's not technically like what it looked like.
No, yeah, I mean, I know that, but I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
him visually looking hot is kind of part of that too. Like, if he didn't look hot, she wouldn't be super seduced, right? It's
No,
kind of like he's hot, and then he's saying all this stuff that is like, oh shit, this
it's
makes sense.
distracting.
Yeah, it's
Like
very it's
you,
distracting. It makes you attracted to that because you're like, oh, I like how this guy looks. What he's saying, I like too. So it's like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? You're gonna
hmm
fall in love with some aspect of whether it's him visually or what he's trying to say. So yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it's an interesting idea. Is it explored well enough? Not really. We didn't get to see a lot of Qimir.
no crime here. Yeah,
Yeah, this
What are you
version
gonna do,
anyways.
Qimir? Come here, just run now.
can't even say the names
All
right.
we really learned was that Brendock was lifeless and barren before the Coven brought the twins there or created them on the actual planet, which allowed the planet to flourish, right? But how would only the Jedi have noticed this? I mean, I know it's even longer ago in a galaxy far, far away, but it's still a very advanced society. You think that number of civilizations would be like, "Hey, what just happened on Brendock, man?"
So there's a reason behind this. I think her saying this kind of this is my problem with Star Wars. It's like, oh, why didn't they do this? And then it turns out there's an explanation somewhere in the comics. So the reason why no one knew about this planet or that it had life is because there was I don't know if she says this in this video. She might have mentioned it, but uh maybe not. I was watching a different video that talked about this, but there was like a space hyperdrive accident or something along those lines where basically pretty much all the planets on the outer rim like there was some accident that caused like a lot of like collision, like moons were destroyed, planets were destroyed, and it was all like rubble and junk just floating in space. And so no one actually wanted to go check these like planets because they were too hard to navigate because of the rubble, and this planet
Yeah,
was one of them. And yeah, so apparently because there's another in Jedi Survivor the game, they actually show you a moon that had this, hyperdrive problem too, where it looks like something blasted right through the moon and it was like shattered. Um, and so that's explained like in the High Republic comic series. Uh, so again, it's like inside baseball shit that they always do with Star Wars. It's like there's always some explanation for something elsewhere instead of it just being in the fucking show. Like, why didn't you could easily have a line about that, like,
hmm
oh yeah, we couldn't go here because of the X, Y, and Z. They might have though. That's the thing. I don't recall them saying that, but they might have. But regardless, that's just my problem with Star Wars. A lot of inside baseball shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who would just leave an entire planet? And I guess it's a very big galaxy, but it just seems odd to me that nobody else would have noticed that. How would Osha and May on the planet not have been like, "Hey, did you notice it's getting a lot more lush around here?" Right? Unless the planet fully blossomed like the moment they were conceived, just like pop. So I don't think that happened. I think it would make more sense that as the twins grew, the planet, the life, the life forces on the planet would grow. And I did like that.
What makes you think they were the reason of life force on the planet? Why not the witches?
Yeah, it was most likely the witches. But
Yeah.
but then yeah, this is another thing. Who created that mind? Was it the witches?
Also, they also explain that the virgins did not also created life. And that's not necessarily mean human life. That meant plant
Yeah,
life.
that's what I thought too. Yeah, they meant
Yeah, that's
like
what they
life,
said.
animals,
Yeah,
bugs, trees, water, whatever
yeah.
it is, right? So, yeah, I don't get that what she's saying here.
The force. The force. See, the force is always around, no matter where. So the force is at play. That's what it is.
That tree was
Right.
like very like representative of them. Like it was their tree, literally. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? But then you think they would be like, this tree sure does seem particularly special to us. Let's go hang out over here and see if we can make another one grow. And why wasn't it twin trees? All right, so that would have been cooler. That would have made more sense.
No.
Probably would have been
And
on the
then once
nose, but
OSHA and May
okay.
Yeah.
were reunited on this show, wouldn't that have created something in the environment? Wouldn't like a little branch go pop? Like if they're that strong, if a force vergence has that kind of effect, when they came together, shouldn't something have happened besides them?
Yeah, this I think is also maybe there's some, something valid here too, because the whole witches are like the power of one, the power of two, and blah blah blah, and we've seen them combined and have this power against the Wookiee Jedi. So you would figure that maybe the twins have some power, some hidden power, and
But they
because
don't
again,
know it.
it's like what yeah, we don't know. Maybe that's in the last episode,
But they
but
weren't taught.
yeah, that
And,
they weren't taught. But it's never, I mean, I don't know, there's not really a lot of hints toward it. I can't think of any lines that were
no, not at
said,
all.
or I mean, besides the whole ritual thing and the marking, I don't, yeah, like we don't really know if there's some power that they have. It would be cool if they had a power because it's like they are DNA wise one person. So if they come together, maybe they're, I don't know, they turn into Goku or some bullshit. I don't
What?
know, right?
What if what? They are one person. Yeah, they are. They're twins, but they're really one person. I wonder if it was actually the witches made one of them, and how somehow the
Yeah,
actual
split them.
split. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought they kind of were suggesting that, but
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, again,
They're
I
suggesting that when Torben was what called the
was
Manachorian count.
checking. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're going to show or explain any of that in the last episode. My guess is no. Like, there's just not enough time to explain that.
No, not no, no. Oh wait, let's see. Let's continue, Mrs. Grace.
Them just being
Mrs.
like, oh my
Grace.
God, are you still alive? No way. Like something should have happened. It's very sloppy writing. Also, that part of why the Jedi wanted to maybe split them up in the first place was because the Force Virgins was so powerful. They're like, they can't stay together. Look at the good they're doing for
Yeah,
the environment. They're like, you guys want to go on a
yeah, that's an interesting idea. I feel like that could have been more conflict there, right? They're sisters that have to be pulled apart, and they don't want to be pulled apart, and I mean I think that could have been interesting, but again, that would require more time. Like
Yes.
that if you wanted to do something like that, you kind of needed. Personally, I feel like shows like these big budget shows or shows that want to explore deeper concept. I think it needs to be 50 minutes at least, in my opinion.
This one was
You know,
this one was 41 minutes, I believe.
was this episode 41 minutes? Felt
Yeah.
like 30 minutes.
No, it was 41.
Okay. No
It's like
credits?
yeah, it's with the credits.
Oh, okay. So it's a bit shorter than that.
Yeah.
Because the credits
traveling
are like
show
5
and just
minutes.
fix planet?
You know what? You know what? Have you ever been to a Marvel movie with the credits?
Yeah, they're long.
Oh, I
They're
was at
long.
my Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I was like there for like 10 minutes because I wanted to see these, the
Yeah,
credit scenes.
right.
I'm like, what the hell, man? It's because they added all the COVID precaution stuff to the credits. People that help with
Oh,
the
right.
COVID precaution stuff, they got credited for that. You didn't
Right.
know that? They got credited.
No, I think I've seen that before in a
Yeah,
couple movies recently. Yeah.
yeah, they got credit for that. I guess they should have got credit. I mean, they were keeping the actors and actresses and the crew safe, so yeah, it was
Right.
well deserved. Some people don't get credit at all in movies that worked on movies.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that does happen.
Yeah,
That's, that sounds like a nice thing to do. With the story as it is, Saul's actions, as I said, are so awful, so unhinged that I don't think anyone would possibly
he's
want him to
not
stick
unhinged
around.
though.
Even as a Sith, I told
He's not unhinged. Unhinged is like going berserk, angry.
Yeah, yeah, he's not unhinged. That's the wrong term.
He's like the opposite of unhinged. Like,
Yeah, I think it would be better to say misguided. He's definitely
yeah,
misguided. And yeah, what he did was definitely wrong. I don't think there's I think most people agree with that, right? But yeah, he's not unhinged. Like unhinged would be like he did this knowingly, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just fuck up this fucking little girl's life.
I'll just kill these bitches and take these girls. I don't care.
Yeah. He genuinely thought like, hey, that this girl was in danger. He
Yeah,
was obviously wrong. He didn't have all the facts. He didn't
no,
see everything. And yeah, so unhinged, not a good description.
no, no. Unhinged is rage, man. Unhinged is like going off berserk, crazy rage.
Yeah,
Like that's
going on.
unhinged. He's
Yeah,
the up.
just doing like something so batshit crazy where you're like,
Yeah, that's
holy fuck.
unhinged. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Grace, she likes to be very exaggerative. That's the thing.
but the thing
She
is, you
likes to
could be
say shit that's
exaggerative,
just
but it
not
still be
true.
make. You could be exaggerative and make sense. The only problem is like unhinged is too much of an exaggeration. A
Yeah.
hyperbole.
No, yeah, yeah, that's some hyperbole, that's for
Because we
sure.
all, I exaggerate too, but I don't go that. Like, I have to make sure I don't go make it. I make sure it
Well,
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, she's trying to make a point too, right? Kind of discredits her point if you're trying to paint him out to be something that he isn't.
Yeah, it's
you I wanted Saul to go to the dark side. I said I thought that would be very interesting. This is even a Sith would be like, "Damn, get away from me!" Like it's just so
What the
horrible.
fuck? Like,
yeah,
does she remember like Anakin killed kids?
yeah,
Like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, the Sith are they're just supposed to be bad guys, right? Like,
oh
I
yeah.
mean, we've seen them do terrible things, so I mean, yeah, I guess it would make sense that he would go to the dark side because of this stuff. It's a little bit more complex, but I don't know. Like, she's like this is what I mean. This is her just kind of like upset that she didn't get what she wanted, and so she's just kind of like saying this stuff to be like, I'm pissed off. But it's like, yeah, this what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
And again, I mean, they're like, "You don't even have like some crazy plan. You're just a jerk." And ironically,
He
he's the
does have a plan. His plan is just to make her his Padawan. That's the plan.
Yeah.
last of the four standing. Even though the rest of them, I don't think really did anything that bad. Maybe Indara did because she agreed to cover it up, and she gave Osha to Saul. At the very least, she should have drawn the line there. She should have been like, "You can't keep this kid after what you did to it. No way."
What they're gonna do is let her like what are they gonna do after the whole covenant's killed, and assuming May's killed, they're just gonna leave her. You have to do something with her.
Yeah, I don't know what her sh- like what was she going to really I mean, like I get what she's trying to say, but what like what they're just gonna give her up to another like
Yeah,
person? She
it's
already
like
has like some attachment. That's what I mean. Like I see what she's trying to say. The show is trying to show another thing where it's like, no, they have some connection and she's gonna stay with him. But again, it's like we're not really shown that. Like, why not show us that? So then it's like there's really no other choice than for him to be her master, right?
yeah.
Like it's kind of like
But
it's
again, what are they
they
gonna
already
do?
have
Just
some
drop her off?
attachment.
They're gonna drop off with a family where she has to live a new way of life. I mean, she has to do it with the Jedi anyway, but at least she's gonna be
Yeah,
there.
she's already traumatized. Her full family's gone. Like this guy's like there to help her. Like why would
Yeah, to
she
get through this.
go with a stranger now? He is the stranger, but he's bonding with her. So
They Like I want like my whole thing in this episode. Why does he want her so much as a Padawan? It's like did he have like a Padawan in the past that's someone died he feels guilty about? Like there has to be a reason.
Yeah,
Like
there
what's the
has to
story
be a
behind
reason. I mean, I would be shocked if it's not hinted or outright said why in the next episode.
it? Yeah,
But with this show, you never really know.
that's true.
I shall raise it because Torben's a horrible Padawan. Indara should have taken Osha because
Who's
that
a
was
teenager? Pearl Padawan. Have you seen what Anakin? Anakin's rebellious too, man. He respects Obi-Wan, but he's a little rebellious too. He's a horrible
Right.
pretty bad, and I guess she did kill the entire coven as well. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. But that was also ridiculous. But what did Torben do? I mean, I thought it must have been so awful that he willingly drank that poison. I think Torben just really did not like being a Jedi. He was like,
No, he was full of guilt.
Yeah, he was guilty. He's like, I knew you were coming. Like he's like been meditating this entire time because he's like
Yeah,
he felt guilty of what he did, and yeah, he did it out of pure ignorance. So
yeah.
yeah, I get it.
turns out it's not the planet that I'm on, but I just don't like being a Jedi. I'm like, dude, quit. Just quit. So, like, all he's really guilty of being a whiny little bitch. Like, basically, Tom and Baratheon in space. I'm like, boy, he only has one mode.
Are you comparing him to Tom Baratheon, a guy who's a spoiled little brat king who enjoys tormenting people? You're comparing these like really?
Yeah, it's a bad comparison.
And what do the two have in common? They're both teenagers, yes, and one is not like the other. Okay, one is yeah, he's a teenager, but he's not evil like Joffrey Baratheon, man. Baratheon's like he's a very bad kid. He's a you can't compare these two. It's just two different characters.
As an actor. And what about Kel Naka? Why did
Oh my god. We had to see the dog first.
That looks like my
Monster
dog.
spill? Bounty.
Did I say
The
something?
quicker picker up.
It's probably on purpose. It's probably on purpose. And I like dogs, but I think the Deadpool dog is ugly.
Yeah, he's supposed to be ugly. I don't know
Yeah.
what kind of dog it is, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know he's supposed to be ugly.
he banish himself? I mean, he had no guilt over that. He was taken over by a coven of witches, and yeah, he attacked his fellow Jedi, but he didn't kill anybody. Get over it, buddy.
He still knew
Like,
what happened.
He gave Torben a cool scar. I'd be like, well, you don't know it, but
he didn't kill
Torben's
anybody.
going to lose most of his hair.
What is she
And
talking
he needs
about?
that scar. I don't know why
I mean, yeah, he didn't kill any of the Jedi, but in order to break the spell, they killed the witches. What?
Mhm.
What's she talking about? I'm confused.
He's talking about why he went into hiding. The Wookiee.
But doesn't he feel guilty that
What?
that the witches died because of something that he kind of did? I mean,
Yeah. He
I don't
feels
know.
guilt
Maybe
too.
Grace is kind of like a sociopath. Like if you
Smoke feels
indirectly
guilt
did
too.
something, you would.
They all three of them feel guilt. The ones we don't know feel guilt is Anira. That's her name because we only see her in the 5 minutes in the present time in the first episode. But all three of them, you can tell they feel guilt. That's why Torben has been meditating for they said like 10 years, right? He's been at
Yeah.
for 10 years, and Kanaka was in the forest, has a home in the forest, and Saul was still with the Jedi Council, training younglings, all of that. He was still feeling guilty, like
Right. Well, you kind of have to wonder, like, he went into this meditation, but the other one's kind of just like, well, I mean, the Wookiee was living in the woods, right? He wasn't living in the woods, like, he just kind of,
it's kind of like a self-imposed exile.
yeah, but like Harry Ann Moth, like, what was she doing really? She didn't look the most guiltiest. Like, she obviously was like, this is bad,
We don't think it's
but
bad.
yeah, we didn't really know.
We're telling the truth, which is a lie.
Yeah, and so I mean, I don't know. They all kind of, for the most part, we're seeing them like have some guilt and kind of like have some issues, right? Like Saul and the Wookiee, obviously, he isolated himself. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. She's kind of skipping over some details here.
I wish Degrassi here tear her apart.
Yeah, because this is just.
Because Degrassi is our Degrassi. If you hear us, you're our Star Wars insider.
Corbin just didn't shave his head like many guys do, or cut it down to make it shorter like Jason Statham. You're like, dude, if your hairline's going, you're supposed to have it cut closer or get rid of it.
Yeah, Jason Statham. Yeah.
You have a really cool bitchin' scar. Like, I think Kalnaka did you a favor. I think it only helps.
I don't know.
your
Bald
personality.
Jedi. I mean, well, Mace Windu was bald, but
Yeah, but that's Samuel Jackson. You get away
yeah.
So that's how I felt. And at least the Kalnaka attack gave us the two only cool moments in the episode, both with Jedi going airborne. Saul's maneuver here, I was like, that's cool. Too bad he's weird and horrible. And then Indara here, where she seemed kind of Trinity.
Indara,
what a waste of Carrie-Anne Moss. Oh. But I thought it would be cool to see a rogue group of Jedi drawn to the dark side. One of you had guessed that maybe they were the 4 horsemen of the Sith. I thought that was a great idea. But
what?
I don't know where. I don't even know.
4 horsemen?
Like these people, people were really throwing shit at the wall instead of it being like, let's watch the show and, from the show we base our theories on evidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the stuff we said didn't come true, but it was like we were using the show to say, hey, I think this was gonna happen, right? So I don't know, like the 4 horsemen of the Sith, like what? Like I don't even know, like how I don't even know. Like I guess it's some creative idea, but like that's not what the show was setting up.
And they said woke group of Jedi. They weren't woke group, man.
No, yeah.
They were on a mission on this planet to find life, and they kind of found it. How it was possible.
Right.
They found they're on this mission to find life of the divergent, right? I was gonna say divergent.
Yeah, and study it.
And they found it with these witches and the kids.
Right.
That's their proof. That's the proof. That's not rogue.
No, yeah. It's weird.
Seemed to have absolutely nothing to do with what went down on Brendock. It just was stupidity and unprofessionalism. And it was sad. It was sad to see the Jedi here. Some people have said they didn't like the way the Jedi were depicted here. A number of us were like, not everybody's going to be, clear-cut good and evil. And it makes sense that the Jedi would have, different levels in the membership. Like it's more realistic. It's more organic. It's more interesting. But I got to tell you, in this episode, they didn't seem like Jedi at all. Jedi in name only. Like, what about all the work that was done at the beginning of the show, which, again, I loved?
What do you mean they didn't seem like Jedi?
Like, I don't get it. Like, you're like, all this work, and I love those episodes. I don't know. I mean, it happens, but it's just like the show, oh my God, it's like most stories are going to foreshadow, they're going to give you hints, right? There's going to be some subtext going on. Like these are all things that all those episodes, like if you watched all the episodes and we came to this, like I'm not surprised. I was more like, oh, okay, we're finally seeing it. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is making sense of what they previously established. I thought it was all in line. Like whether or not was it good or not, yeah, you could argue, but her claim that this like went off the rails, I don't really agree with that. It was in line with what they set up. I mean, if they did some Horsemen of the Apocalypse, yeah, I would be shocked because where the fuck is that set up? Like, so I don't know. Like Grace is not. I don't know. It's not that interesting to talk about. Like, oh, what did this line mean, or like, or what could this, like some more how would you call it, like film analysis. Like she's just kind of doing a breakdown in terms of, oh, they said this, could this mean we get this show and this and this? It's like, it's like it's always about some other show, some other movie. It's never about the thing that she's actually watching, you know.
Yeah, that's
It's okay
true.
to make comparisons, but yeah, just I don't know. Sometimes she goes off the deep end.
Oh, I think she does that a lot, though.
Yeah, she does. She does.
who established the Jedi's defensive style of fighting, and that they tried not to engage in conflict. Like that was always a last resort. Totally out the window here. Not even they were defying it, but as if it had never existed. I mean, how could this be the same Saul who went one on one with May in episode 2, which was an incredible fight, and he was just so cool, or in Dara in episode 1? I mean, you might be like, well, this was 16 years later. They became totally different people. I mean, and these, by the way, the de-aging was good, but it wasn't that good. These weren't like a bunch of 17-year-olds or 16-year-olds who just graduated from the academy. These
I didn't see any de-aging,
No,
honestly.
I didn't see any. The wig that he had on was terrible.
But it didn't. But it was his face wasn't de-aged.
No, I didn't see any de-aging. No.
Carrie Ann Moss looked the same in the present than she does here.
Yeah, did they really need to de-age them though? It was like what, 16 years? Is that what they said?
Yeah, yeah, that's what she said.
16 years, I don't know. They're like middle age. They probably look the same for 16 years.
They weren't. I don't.
I
They
don't know.
weren't
It's not that big of a
de-aged.
deal.
You de-aged, you would have saw some. You would have saw it. They weren't de-aged here.
Yeah, I mean like the kid who was a teenager, like
He wasn't
yeah, or
de-aged
the
either.
Padawan. No,
He
no,
wasn't
he was
de-aged.
aged up. Yeah, he
Yeah,
wasn't de-aged in the flashback, but in the present they gave him a beard and like mature hairline, and so
yeah.
I mean yeah, it kind of makes sense that he looks older, but I don't
But
know.
they,
That
but these,
minor nitpick, I don't really care.
yeah,
It's not that big a deal.
they look the same. They look the same. They did not use any DH technology uh, or age up technology at all. They just they,
Carrie Ann Moth is the only one who didn't visually look like she aged. Like maybe they could have changed her hair, you know what I mean? Like, little minor things like that, sure. But like you didn't need to de-age them. It's just weird. It's a waste of money.
clearly were
yeah.
full-on adults. I mean, this was behavior that just was not excusable. I don't even think it would be excusable for older teenagers. Or, I mean, really anybody. I think that behavior was inexcusable.
Behavior.
So yes, nothing makes sense
It's
in this
not it's
episode.
not
And also, even
inexcusable
worse,
though.
pretty
Like
much every single
like it's such an eye roll comment where you're like, because I morally disagree with it, I think the show is promoting this. It's not. Like I that's what I mean. Like the levels of analysis here is so infuriating where it's like, and she always does this. It's always like, whatever the movie is promoting, it's some omission. I think this was a example last year I can remember off the top of my head where she was like, "Oh, Bowser was like kind of creepy in the Mario movie, like he was just obsessed with Princess Peach." And you're like, "But he's the
to the game.
villain." Like
Yeah.
who is endorsing what he's doing? And this I think this is also
Well,
becoming
she
like
never played a
more
Mario game.
common.
She never played a
Yeah,
Mario
she
game.
never played a Mario game, but still, it's like, like it, le- movies and TV shows are going to show you stuff that is wrong. It doesn't mean that the people behind them are saying we agree with the actions of this character. Like we agree with everything that's in our show. It's like,
Oh yeah, you know the people on the other side. They're trying to infiltrate. They're trying to get their points, their views in their stuff. They're trying to
no, but
brainwash
but
you.
that makes it like. And I said this last night. I mean, like, do people not have a brain? Can you not think for yourself?
Uh
Can you
huh.
not can you
Yeah.
not sit down and
Yeah.
realize that what this character did was wrong? And
Yeah.
maybe that's the whole point is they're trying to show you, hey, what they're doing here is wrong, and maybe you shouldn't agree with it. Or maybe you're like, hey, I
Be right.
kind of agree with it because of so and so reason. I mean, like this whole like pearl clutching that Grace Randolph loves to do the pearl clutching a lot. Where it's like, oh my God, it's like I, I don't know. For me, it just like Grace is a very like every time like I hear her talk, I'm always reminded that she is an affluent, wealthy person who's kind of sheltered and doesn't really understand that her, like, I don't know, this stance that she has, not everybody agrees with it. But I guess if you disagree with her, then, you
Hmm.
know, that's why she likes to go on these tirades of blocking people. It's like she can't just like ignore people's opinions. She always has to, everybody has to align with her opinion. And it's like that on the opposite side too. It's like these people have to have people around them that say, "Oh, this is woke and that is this and that," because anybody who challenges their perspective, that makes them, that makes them wheezy, that makes them sick because they don't want to be challenged on their perspectives.
Yeah, that's so true. That's true.
Yeah, it's annoying. I think it's a sick. I honestly think personally it's a sickness. Like we have people are always gonna have different opinions. There's always variations of what's acceptable in conversation, but like I'm sick of this whole we gotta bend over backwards to compensate for other people and their opinions. We're talking about fucking movies. Like we're talking about movies and entertainment. It's not that big of a deal. But this is the world that Grace Randolph in her head is living in. So I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. Anyway,
Character
let's
motivation
continue.
we saw in episode 3 turns out was misleading. Like May. May was actually a very sweet little girl who was misled by one of her mothers, Coral. Although I don't understand how Coral
Coral.
telling her to stop her sister from leaving and get mad led to May deciding to threaten to kill Osha. I'm like, how did you make that connection? I mean, even
And
Coral,
this
I think,
is
would be like, I think you might have missed.
pause. This is not her fault. I'm not gonna blame Grace for this. This is the fault of the filmmakers, the showrunner, the way it was filmed. Because in episode 3, we do see May say, "I'm gonna kill you,"
Yeah.
but they never in this episode distinguish that that line was not true. It's just that that line doesn't appear in the
Uh-huh.
show. But you're supposed to make that connection and realize, oh, the little girl didn't intend to burn the other sister. She wasn't trying to kill her.
She's
She
just
was
trying to
just
burn
trying
the
to
book.
burn the notebook. Yeah.
The book. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't blame her here. That they
She
didn't
just
do a
yeah.
good job of explaining or showcasing that the events of the pre of episode 3 were wrong. And
Yeah.
what they should have done was they should have they should have shown us a different perspective on each um moment from episode 3 and show us that it wasn't true, or like what she was saying in the beginning of this video, there should have been a narrator. Like it should have been maybe May and Soul going back and forth, like, hey, like, Soul's like, oh, you try to kill Osha, and May's like, no, I didn't. It was by accident. I wasn't trying to kill my sister. Are you
Yeah.
crazy? Like there should have been some commentary over it, um, to explain things too. I mean, that could have helped. But yeah, because I'm like, I don't know how would you show that visually that episode 3 was wrong and that line of dialogue's not true. I'm not sure. I think I don't know. But anyway, let's continue.
Misunderstood what I told you. Because also another problem is making Coral the source of May's behavior robs May of having that connection to the dark side, which had made her a very interesting character. In fact, the whole showdown, the way it's retold here, it actually had nothing to do with Osha and May. In episode 3, the twins had agency. Like at the very least, they were partially responsible for what had happened on
But isn't
Brendok
that
16
part of
years
the
ago. But it
mystery
turns out
though? I'm thinking, isn't that part of the mystery of like May was teaming up with Qimir, but it turns out she really wasn't trying to be his acolyte. She was only trying to kill the Jedi because of this personal
He said
vendetta
that.
she
He
has
said
against
that the
them.
reason. He said that she only wanted one thing, and he wanted another thing. He wanted a Padma. She
Right.
just wanted revenge.
She just wanted revenge. So yeah, like I mean, I don't think it takes away that there's some darkness within her because I mean, she wanted revenge, right? She wasn't
Yeah.
willing to let it go. So, but at the same time, I think like to present her that maybe she's killing these Jedi to be a acolyte. Like I think that's kind of what the show was trying to get people to think. So I don't agree with what she's saying here.
Let's continue this.
Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, we're almost done with it.
Out, they actually had nothing to do with it. Their actions, I mean, I guess, May accidentally started the fire, but they were just pawns. They were bystanders and a disagreement between adults. Even Osha's wish to be a Jedi didn't matter because it was really that Saul wanted her to be a Jedi and Coral did not. And so the adults were making all the decisions, and the twins, again, they were totally robbed of their age.
No. First of all, they gave the decision to Osha if she wanted to be a Jedi. They weren't forcing her to be a Jedi. They gave her
Right.
a choice.
Well, yeah, the other mother was giving her a choice, but then
This
I don't know
mother-
how she could say this part here because I'm a little bit confused because it's like, well, first off, the adults making the decisions. I mean, yeah, that's kind of how it would work. Like, yeah, she wanted to be a Jedi, but at the same time, like, if there was something preventing, well, the other mother was like, yeah, you're, even though I disagree, I'm gonna allow you to be a Jedi,
yeah.
but yeah, it's like, I don't know, like they are kids, so I feel like,
She did that mother that made Osha make her choice. This mother didn't want Osha to make a choice. This mother, the one on the bottom, wanted to keep Osha here.
right, but I just think what Grace is saying here about like, oh, only the parents made the decision. It's like, yeah, but they're kids, so we don't really know. I mean, because the thing is, the show's not really exploring that idea about like, well, they're kids and can they really make decisions? Because I feel like, yeah, they can make decisions on their own, but sometimes they're gonna regret that
Also,
decision.
most of the time, they even said in this episode, most younglings are actually younger than these two were.
Right.
They said,
That's true.
I,
Yeah.
I think it was it near Carrie Ellis's character said they're too old to be younglings.
Right. Yeah. She did say that. Sorry, I was yawning.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
she did say that. She did.
Agency as children, and then therefore as a result as adults. It's crazy. Saul as a character has been totally destroyed, but how this show has undercut Osha and May, very well played in the earlier episodes by Amanda Stenberg, also I think needs to be noted. And it's just very tragic that character assassination for Saul, wasting of the characters of Osha and May, who started out, I feel, with such promise. Speaking of not making sense,
You see how what she said there, right?
Yeah.
The promise. It was not about the characters in those episodes. It was about what could be. That's how she thinks. It's never about what is, it's what could be. That's I feel like a big problem with Grace. Like you watch the show for what it is currently.
And
Don't watch stuff for what it can be. That's just silly in my
you do
opinion.
what you can be after the show is done.
Right. I mean, you form that opinion afterward, but like to
Yeah.
project this like, oh, like I didn't like the character now, but I like the idea of what they could do with the character. It's like they may not even do what you were thinking, which by the way they didn't. So
They're not.
so whose fault is that? Is that the writer's fault or is that your fault for weird expectations? I think that's on Grace Randolph in my opinion.
All these extra witch powers come from at the last moment. Apparently, the smoke power comes from Legends or something.
Yeah,
Why
I
didn't
don't
she
know
use
any
it
about this.
earlier? And why, when she turns herself intangible, can she be killed by a lightsaber? I'd be like, that shouldn't work. She's literally a smoke monster. These witches are very fragile overall, it turns out, from Anastasia to all the witches dying because Indara broke their control over Kelnaka. I'm like, why didn't they just let go of Kelnaka?
Because she's a very powerful.
Well, I do wonder this too.
Well, she's probably very more powerful than the witches.
Well, Kalnaka? Who? Or the
Indara.
oh. Yeah, I didn't understand why they didn't just let go. They killed everybody in their coven for what? The Jedi won.
if it was getting that serious,
Yeah.
right? I mean, controlling that one Wookiee was worth the entire coven dying. Both sides felt that way, and Dara and the coven were like, yes, it's to the death. It's like it's a consequence that wasn't equal to the action in the first place.
I
It was
agree
really
with this.
bizarre.
I agree with that. It was kind of weird. Yeah, with like the retaliation compared to the attack, it's like, yeah, it wasn't equal. I don't understand why the Coven were so desperate to, I mean, end up killing themselves over one fucking Jedi. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if someone can explain that to me, but I don't really understand it personally.
As another counterpoint, one of you said that the show highlighted that there was a lack of communication, misunderstandings, and prejudice was being depicted here. And I thought the prejudice
where's the
one was
prejudice?
interesting. I thought that had potential. Like if like this was still the development writing stage and you took these three writers and Leslie Headland and you were like, what are you trying to do here? Let me try to understand where you're coming from. And they were like, prejudices. You'd be like, oh, okay. But you didn't show any prejudices here. I mean, I think, you know, people are
like, what the
projecting that
fuck
on
is
the
she
episode.
talking about now? Holy shit! Like this is like what, the third time in this video where she does this, where she brings up something someone said online about a point or an idea, but
Yeah.
that idea is not even in the show. But like you're running on the idea that, oh, this could have been in the show, and therefore why isn't it included just because someone else mentions this idea? It's so stupid. It's like, go off of what the show is saying, critique the show based on what it is, not what someone in their head thinks it should have been, and then apply it to the show. It makes no sense. She did this 3 times now in this one video. Like, and it annoys me too when people do this. Like sometimes even like, I don't want to just keep bashing her, but like yeah, I get the idea of like having expectations, and those expectations kind of like guide you. I mean, you've seen this, like when we talk about certain things or review things,
Yep.
you may hear me go, "Oh, I wish they did this," or blah blah blah, right? I mean,
Same.
yeah, we all have that. We all have that. That's not my problem with what she's saying. My problem is this idea of generating something or critiquing the show for something it isn't doing. It's not doing that. So like, why even mention that? Like, you could say, oh, maybe this theme would have worked better if they did so and so, right, with this character, or have a scene like this, or but like, don't just like say, oh, the idea of prejudice, because like, where is the prejudice here? Is it the Jedi going in and taking the girls from the witches, right? But the witches are like, I'm not seeing the prejudice at all, because it's like, well, you could maybe say that if the Jedi were all men, right? Then maybe that's a point. Okay, yeah, they're gonna take the little girls from the mothers. Okay, yeah, I could see that. But no, there's a woman on one of the Jedi, and she was the one saying, like, okay, we can go in, but like, only because I agree partly with what you're saying, Saul, right? I don't know. Grace Randolph, I think, I don't know. And this is the problems with her reviews too. It's just like, goes off in the deep end, uh, you know, kind of rambly, talking about things that don't make sense. And she alleges that she writes notes. Why not watch the show and take notes?
Yeah.
Because the witches, for instance, were only in 2 episodes. I mean, there was no prejudices underscored here. I mean, again, people just were acting bizarrely.
Yeah, the show doesn't set that up.
Yeah.
The show doesn't set that up. So why even mention it? Just because someone else said it.
There was no organic motivations anywhere, right? And then you also have to wonder, is this a show about the twins? Or is it a show about the Coven versus the Jedi? If it was a show just about the Coven versus...
It's not
Well,
about
clearly
the
it's not.
It's about the twins.
It's like if it was about the Covenant and the
There'll be
Jedi,
more episodes.
there would be more episodes about it.
The Jedi, then I could say you could make it about prejudices. But then also, what about discovering Qimir? Is that a part of the story as well? Now,
It is. It's like again, like can you pay attention to what the show is saying? Okay, look at the show and draw conclusions based on the show. Qimir is part of the show because he's a parallel to Saul.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like for someone who is a hardcore defender of the show, for you to now pretend like uh she's like, where did this again? I keep saying this, but where did this come from? S- Qimir was telling Saul, hey, he. We don't even really know if Qimir knows what Saul did. I'm guessing he does, right? Because the things that he was saying to him, well, that pretty much was like that was kind of hitting home, right? Because what if it wasn't, then why did Saul have such
Yeah. How
a
did
bit
the
of a
question?
reaction to it?
How would he know Crimea? Like that's from that's
Yeah,
the
we
question.
don't. And I guess the answer would be that Qimir was that lady with the lightsaber whip. That was her Padawan.
That's what
That's our guess, right?
that's what Degrassi is saying.
Yeah, that's what
But
Degrassi says.
does
Yeah.
she know what happened there? We don't know if she knows. She might be told. Like we don't know if she knows what happened there in the past. Be-
Who?
Um, that Vanestra, because remember when they
Right.
go
Yeah.
back, of course, they Inera told them what happened. Like it was a fake. I mean, they told them what happened on the mission, but it wasn't truly what happened.
Well, maybe she doesn't know, but maybe the Jedi all know that there's stories like Saul and Osha,
Yeah,
right? And that they cover it up, and it's sort of. I mean, that could be interesting. We will see if that's what
okay.
happens, but
Maybe Quimir's master,
his
whoever the
his
master.
current master, like the Sith master.
I don't think he has one.
Okay, so you mean the Jedi master,
Yeah,
right?
because he admitted he had that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But he's clearly a parallel
yeah.
to Saul because he wants an acolyte. He wants a person to mentor, but he's at the same time he's not trying to impose his ideology. He's not trying to oppose
No, he's just
his
explaining
lifestyle
it.
onto them. He's trying to that's why it's like he's kind of letting them choose freely what they want to do. While Soul didn't do that with Osha, he kind of just, and that's what she's missing. That's why she's like, Soul is such a bad character and I can't agree with him. But she's not seeing that there's a parallel there, right? Like
Yeah.
it's gone over her head completely.
I'm sure some would say, well, the point is, Grace, is that it's about all three of those things. But they don't have the runtime to cover all three of those things.
There's no book. It's
Well,
not about three things of riches.
we've
It's not about the
said
riches.
this. Fucking hell, we said this. Like, there's not enough runtime. So that's not what the show is about. Pay attention to what the show is actually about.
It's not about the riches, man.
Yeah, it's not
So
about
they
the
needed to
witches.
pick. Because as it is, it's a mess. It's an underdeveloped mess. Finally, the
Now
show
you say
had
this
done a
in
really good
episode
job of
7?
peaking.
Mm-hmm.
In episode 7, you're saying this. That's why I say, I'm like, do you actually like the show? Those 6 episodes? I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me continue to see how long we have. Oh, 3 more
In the
minutes.
interest of many of
Okay.
us as to what happened on Brendock 16 years ago. I was seated. I was like, all right, let's find out. And this is the answer? I mean, what a letdown. And what does any of this have to do with Qimir? Besides him being, again, awesome. I'm so glad that this show at least gave us Qimir. Although, again, we have 1 episode left to go.
Okay, you have a hot
But
trip.
why is he
Grace,
even
we
in
know.
this story? Why couldn't May decide on her own to kill the Jedi? Again, why rob her character?
Because she's
of her
not.
for a show that's supposed to be.
Because that's. Oh my God, it's so fucking frustrating. Because Because May's motivation is not about joining the dark side. She's only and maybe in part connected to the dark side because she wants revenge.
Um, 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 Grace, not every villain is connected to the dark side in Star Wars.
No, but I
Right?
mean, if you have these dark tendencies, I guess they're going to say that. But that's not. She doesn't want to be with Qimir. She doesn't want to be an acolyte.
No,
You know,
she
she
just
does.
because to her it's the same thing as going with the Jedi.
Yeah, it doesn't rob her agency. I mean,
No,
her being an acolyte for no reason robs her agency because then it's just like, well, where did that come from? That's not
yeah,
set up.
she doesn't want to be a Sith or a Jedi. She
No,
just wants
but like for Grace, it's like again, it's. Oh, I really got to wonder, like, are what like you're watching the show and you're just like so off base. It's insane. It's like you're
no.
almost watching a totally different show.
For I believe Siths are not about revenge. Yes, they're villains, they're the bad guys, but they're not. Their motivations are not about revenge. That's what I believe. Like
Mhm.
Anakin's motivation was not about revenge. It was about well, actually protecting his wife from birth because she was supposed to when
Right.
she gave birth, she was passed away, and that turned to the dark side. This guy's motivation is not revenge. Palpatine's motivation was not revenge. I don't think it's. I don't think I don't think their motivation is revenge, Sith.
Hmm.
You could be right. Like that's. Instead of so yeah, like and her motivation is clearly revenge. And like I said 10 minutes ago, Qimir said she was not the perfect acolyte because she's only cares about revenge, not about being a not about being a Padawan to him, just about
Right.
revenge. All right.
So progressive, the female characters have taken a back seat to the male characters throughout the story, which is so odd. Why is this a show about Saul and Qimir or May and Osha? I guess they're the masters and
Grace.
She just fucking said it right there. Play it out.
the acolytes, but then what are all these other characters doing in here? Right? I mean, again, they
She
don't
just
have the
answered her
time
own
for all
fucking
these.
question.
Yeah.
That's the fucking story. The
Progressive.
fucking story is that there's a parallel between the two. How stupid can you be? The fucking show is literally says it's called Acolyte. Look at the fucking logo in the show. What's in the fucking logo of the show? You got two rings passing through each other. You have the dark side and the light side, the parallels. The episode titles have two they're parallels, right? Each episode has name is like a parallel to each other. Like what is she even talking about now? It's right there in front of you. There's evidence. But you're just again, you're going along of, "Oh, I didn't want it to be this." That's what it is.
And now she's
Critique
saying
what it is.
now she's not even saying it's now she's saying it's not progressive because the males get the now it's about the males all of a sudden. It's still about the
It's
females.
still about the females. The whole it's so stupid.
Wha-
One episode, we get one episode from the male perspective, and all of a sudden
Yes.
it's not about the fucking female characters, even though it's been 6 episodes with
It's
them.
still episode. Yeah, it comes from the male's perspective, so but still heavily focused on the kids, right?
Yeah, like this is beyond stupid what she's saying
Yeah.
here.
for all this stuff. I guess they always feel like, oh, that'll be in a further season, but you can't do that. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
You want that
Clearly,
though.
no one's been able to make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, she does.
What's the definition of crazy? You try the same thing again and again and expect a
Definite
different
crazy
result.
is Grace Randolph.
You can see it in the dictionary of your face, right beside.
Yeah.
And then also Osha didn't even want to be in this show at the beginning. She's like, I would like to go home. I mean, so that's the power of two that they've decided to make a theme song about. You're like, instead of writing the theme song, why don't you actually make the two powerful? That would be a better use of our time. At this point, I have pretty much no faith that this story can be wrapped up in the one remaining episode, especially because it's probably going to be about 35 minutes. There's just no way. There's just no way they're going to be able to, as I said, forget satisfying. There's no way they're going to be able to wrap it up in a way that makes sense. It just isn't the time.
Wait a
And
minute.
again, what
Is this from her Disney Plus account?
Say that. Is that her
from
Disney Plus account?
'Cause
Yeah,
last
I
she
guess
watched
so.
Did she finish watching the first episode? I don't know.
Might have been a mistake. 'Cause you know when sometimes it shows like I don't know. She definitely did look at it though. Because how else did she did the break? Well,
Look at
well,
episode 3.
well,
Look at episode 3.
well. I mean, it does sound like she isn't watching the shit. So who knows?
Yeah. Look at episode 3. It looks like I should watch episode 3 at all. Because
Yeah.
there's no blue.
Hmm.
Huh. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
a shame because episode 5 was just so good. It was so special.
Yeah, but you watched
It
the
was
full episode.
exciting. It felt like Star Wars was breaking new ground and going in an exciting new direction. It felt like the promise that Kathleen Kennedy had first made with what her vision for Star Wars was had finally been realized. So that makes it even more tragic that it slipped through our fingers right before our eyes. Hopefully, Qimir again gets in an escape pod, takes his cortosis and awesome fighting.
God, good lord, she's obsessed with them. God, she wants a poster of him in his wall. That's what she wants.
Hmm.
skills with him and jettisons off to Star Wars overall, leaving this show behind. So what do you think? What would this show need to do in the final episode to stick the landing, in your opinion? Like, bottom line, what does it need to do? And do you still want to see Saul continue on? And a lot of us really were loving Saul. I was loving him, loved him so much. And I just don't think, I don't want the character to continue now. I don't see how he could. All right, so share your thoughts down. Come here. Share your thoughts down below.
Just had to do that at the end. Qimir.
Subscribe today. And of course, as always,
She's probably getting wet.
The show going to stick the landing? Let's answer the question here. All right, is it? I mean, we're 7 episodes in.
This show's inconsistent, so
Yeah.
I'm going 50-50.
I'm going to go 50-50 too. I personally think what we're going to get in the next episode is that Osha. I think Osha may team up with Qimir.
Yeah.
And I think she's either going to have like be reconnected with the Force, and I think that's what the show is going to be kind of like ends on, is that, you know, like Osha was always wanted to be a Jedi, but ironically, you know, the Jedi made her want to be a Sith. That's my guess. You know, that would be an interesting parallel, and maybe what they could also be setting up is that May is going to go toward the light side. You know, maybe they go in total opposite directions.
That's just episode 7 shows you, like, where with them episode 6 with May.
Right.
With Osha.
I also think we could be getting a hint at Qimir and his master. Maybe he says, "Hey, you know, my master lied to me too," and then he says, you know, he explains what she did to him, which is, you know, what Degrassi was saying, that theory that the whip, yeah, with Qimir, whatever that Venestra is. I don't know what the fuck her name is.
The thing is, so would Soul know Qimir is Venestra's Padawan at one point, or you think it wouldn't?
Maybe it's been too long. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be that.
But yeah, and then I think they will probably end on. I mean, because if it's been rumored that they're going to do multiple seasons and they've talked about it, then maybe it does end on
a cliffhanger.
Osha, yeah, it ends on a cliffhanger. So then it's not going to satisfy Grace, that's for sure. I don't think what I'm saying would satisfy her at all. But that's what I feel like is going to happen, because it's like there's not a lot of time in the episode, right? So
There's only one thing that's satisfies her in this show, and that's Qimir.
Well, the thing is, I think. Well, we'll see. If that does happen, I'm curious to see her reaction and what she thinks of that. But you know, I don't know. This show, I keep saying it, but like this show's caused so much
Yeah,
outrage and so much
yeah,
discussion over something that I think is just kind of, I don't want to say middling or mid, but it's definitely there. It's not, we've had better Star Wars shows for sure. And I don't think this show is anything home to write about, but at the same time, I think there is some good elements to it that people are kind of skipping over or not giving the show credit. But at the
yeah.
same time, yeah, I think it needed a lot more time in the writing department. I think or actually have longer episodes. I think they should have really plot this out well, the mystery, and making sure that it's very clear that this is a mystery about what the Jedi did, and really showcasing how guilty they are. And if that means, because this is another thing too, the show also is playing into established lore, and I always feel like Star Wars lore cripples the creators more so than enhances them. I mean, the only person who seems to, and I would argue otherwise, but the only person who really seems to really merge Star Wars lore with good storytelling is Dave Filoni. I don't personally agree with that, but that's what Star Wars fans agree on. So I don't know. I think Star Wars, I personally have the controversial opinion of I would like to see Star Wars be rebooted, which I know people don't want to hear. They don't like that take.
Hmm.
Um, Another suggestion, I was watching a video and they were suggesting that maybe Star Wars should do something similar to Marvel where they focus on, Marvel has phases, but Star Wars would have
Pleasant.
eras.
Yeah, yeah.
So like you would have, an era. We're going to focus on the original trilogy era, and we're only going to do movies and shows with the characters in that world. And then, that's going to lead up to a finale, and then we're going to move on. I think there needs to be a little bit more cohesion to all this stuff. And I think they also need to be a little bit more flexible of what Star Wars can be. Like maybe why can't we have a horror Star Wars movie? Why does everything need to be tonally similar? Like Marvel doesn't really do that. So how come Star Wars needs to feel like everything needs to be pretty much the same in line? Like they're so focused on the lore and the continuity, and that's why I say just reboot it.
What the hell? What the hell
I
is
cut
that?
out.
What
They
the
didn't
hell?
want me saying that message, they didn't want me
Yeah.
saying that.
That's pretty
But
funny,
that's,
actually.
yeah, they got me,
Oh,
they
they got
got
you.
me. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of my take on it. It is what it is.
We gotta, we gotta finish this video. Let's see what
Oh,
she.
is it not? I thought it's
Check out some
finished.
more videos right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, it's
finished.
finished.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done. It's quite a long video, but I'm glad we got through it. I think you made a lot of interesting points, and she just looked like stupid. She just looked totally stupid in that video. Egg on her face. And all the woke or the anti-woke people who are like, even Grace Randolph is turning on the show. Um, I wouldn't be championing Grace if I was these anti-woke people. If
Well,
anything,
she's.
I think it makes her look stupid.
I want to see if John Campy actually. You think John Campy really watched it? Just see if I can find it.
I don't think so. I don't think he um is into the show.
No, he said he was gonna stop after the last episode. Um, no, there's nothing here about him. No. Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
Damn.
it is what it is.
Harloff. What is Harloff? I mean, Harloff. Let's see. Kristen Harloff. Oh, his spoiler review is yesterday is an hour long. Oh,
Oh.
reaction review. Oh, that's 26-minute long. Let's see how this starts. 'Cause I know he didn't like it either.
Aioli's theme, he was tied.
Yeah, he's tied.
She cracks her eyebrows.
He's tied.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be tied.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the
Where's he
channel.
in
This
his
is
that bathroom?
episode 7 of the
I
Acolyte.
don't know what that is.
To say that this show has caused
What's that
conversation
noise?
is an understatement.
Squeaky
People
floors.
have been all over the place with this show, from either not liking it from the beginning,
Why
loving
is he
it
reading
from the
like? Why is
beginning,
he talking like it's a script?
thinking a lot of
I
it was
have no
bad, and
clue.
then one episode was good, or 2 episodes it was getting better. You're hating on it. You're loving on it. It's
I don't think the show ever got better.
Lot of
I'll say that.
I
I
fall
think it's
in the
always
meh
consistently stayed the
category,
same.
and you
It's
know
you,
we're
you fall
still
in the
covering
meh.
it because I like to watch Star Wars, and I'm hoping that if this one
Do you
doesn't
like to
finish
watch
up
Star
well,
Wars, or
maybe Skeleton
you still
Crew,
hoping
or
for
maybe
that
Lucasfilm will sell to Apple.
ticket to
Hey, somebody
Disneyland?
can dream, but nonetheless,
You remember
or
that?
Disney rather, will sell
Yeah,
Lucasfilm to
I
Apple.
remember that. That was hilarious.
Anyway, what I did like about last episode was that they played a little bit more with the Sith lore. And I thought the stuff with the stranger, and I think that Manny Jacinto is the one who is stealing the show. Stand by the fact that I don't really necessarily know the need for the twins, but at this point, we'll see if Osha turns bad like it looks like she's going to do, and May will turn good as it looks like she's
Yeah,
going to
even
do.
he's saying
And
that.
maybe
Even
we'll
he's
give you
saying
some
that.
moments
So
that, like last week, I said, hey, that wasn't so bad. But we'll find out. So we're going to watch this, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But here is the beginning of the Acolyte.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
All right. Brendock, 16 years earlier. Okay,
I
now
won't
we
get
need
in
the
trouble.
backstory.
wait a
again.
minute.
The
Hold on.
backstory
Pause.
episodes.
What's going
All
on
right.
here?
Okay.
I won't get in trouble for this, right?
So he's got this is some shady ass shit. How long is this video? I can't see.
26 minutes.
Oh, 20. Okay. So he's like editing parts of the show into. Damn, that's a hassle.
I won't get in trouble for this because he's showing.
Can we get a little more Carrie Ann Moss? I can dig it. She's using a metal detector on the beach.
How did he? They're so lucky
got a
these people
baseball
are
field on
able
this
to get
thing.
away with this
She's
shit.
going to eat some weed.
Eat some weed.
Yeah, the whole reaction stuff.
Okay.
She's
Find
sitting
out
down
what
actually
Lord Jedi
reacting to this. Oh
a-holes.
man.
I thought you
Supposed to
watched
hit
it
the Jedi
already.
again?
Like,
100
the
years
thing
ago,
is,
this planet was cataloged as lifeless.
you can't react to something that you already watched. I'm sorry.
Well, I think he's reacting and then he's giving his review. That's what it seems like. Oh man.
Yeah,
Man,
you know
oh
what? I
man.
hate those people that watch something and then they watch it again and it's a reaction. I'm like, no, reaction's only a real reaction is better if it's the first time. Watch
Yeah,
something
it's
first time.
I'm not
Get
I
it.
don't really watch reaction videos. I'm not a fan of them.
Well, I just hate people saying, it isn't a reaction. Yeah, I already seen this, but this is going to be a reaction to this episode. I'm like, but you already seen it. It's not going to be a real reaction.
Yeah, I kind of prefer. I mean, I prefer you just like talk about what you saw. You know, go
Yeah.
do a review, do a in-depth critique or some commentary. I don't want to see you just staring like he is right here
How do you
doing
do
nothing.
live episode reaction on YouTube where you can't show the episode on YouTube? You have to create your own separate thing. Like,
Yeah. And how did he had to, you know what he had to do, right? To get some of these clips. Because they're not up on YouTube. He had to Because you can't screen record Disney unless he can.
No.
He's got like a screen recorder on his TV that's recording the TV screen. You know, like you could do that almost like a capture card. But yeah, so I don't know how he's got this footage to edit
He's,
with.
he's not gonna get in trouble because like, he's connected. So, like, he's friends with people that worked in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like
he's not
Case,
gonna.
Sackhoff.
He's not gonna have any problems. But I don't know. I don't want to see his blank reaction like this. Look at his face here. Look at his mug.
Yet this planet, Brendok, is thriving.
So there's some plants here. Big deal.
He ain't
Calm
saying a
yourself,
word.
Padawan.
Yeah, for real.
What we were doing somehow
What the?
important or meaningful.
We are looking for a virgins.
A virgin.
The Force.
Oh god.
That's what Anakin is.
A virgins could create.
He's just saying this
Like
because the
what we
camera's
see
on.
on
He
this
wouldn't say that.
It's a power.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
studied,
Look at some of his reaction here.
And Palpatine will do it.
He's actually watching it.
This is a noble
He's actually
mission.
watching it.
Yeah, he is watching it.
So,
But
the Sith get their hand on it to figure out how to do it. That way,
But he's not watching it if
relaying
he's
to-
talking. What
Because of all this, this is how Anakin's.
the hell is he saying here? It's always. Oh man, so always this
Does he know?
Anakin shit. I get it, but
able to be formed because they find this information out.
Follow the river?
oh, he's boring.
We haven't covered
Come
the
on.
Northlands yet. Meet us back at the camp.
All right, so this is where he discovered it. We find out. Okay, piece it
So-
together from the last flashback
How we-
episode.
oh, so he did watch this then. Why
Yeah.
did he
See
say it
something
like
now.
that?
This shouldn't be a reaction. It's a fake reaction.
That's so weird.
I feel like this is really going to conflict with a lot of stuff down the line, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh my god, this is actually.
Oh,
really
he's
boring.
looking. He sees.
Let's get to the serious part.
I'm struggling to try to deliver
Let's
this.
see. I'm
Yeah,
What
let's
is
get to
that?
the review part.
I'm not going to hurt you. I just need to take a
I
sample.
haven't watched this.
Your
I'm
blood.
sorry.
Is that okay?
And what? Yeah, did we get what the test was?
In this test, you must divine what.
I love how he
images appear on
looks.
the
He's
test tube.
looking,
want
and then he's also
Well-
looking at the camera too.
To guess.
Tell us.
It's like little glimpses at the
what you
camera.
see.
A spaceship. A
Oh
castle.
man.
Yeah, I remember she was.
We know that they're BSing.
Can I go back to my family now?
No, she made
Yeah.
Last night
BSing.
before we entered
Yeah.
your home,
Oh, that's
What was
something we
everyone
forgot
doing in the
about.
courtyard?
Remember she was coached to BS that test.
Right. Oh yeah, and also too, they knew that May was force sensitive.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They were both-
Well, I guess yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
know
I
that
haven't
both
seen
of
it.
them are. Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Never mind.
Yeah.
Songs.
is your marking a part of Ascension?
Yes.
I
Oh,
think-
wait a minute. Why are you giving all the information if you're guessing wrong answers?
Ascension means Ocean and I will lead the coven.
Giving up
But
a
your
lot of
children, how
information.
can you become the leaders?
Yeah. That's why.
Well, she's only supposed to fail the test. She's just explaining to her about what goes on in the coven.
Yeah.
She could have lied there too, but I mean, she wouldn't lie about what they were doing though. That's the thing. She was too prideful, I guess. So yeah.
Mhm.
Mama said everyone must be sacrificed to fulfill their destiny.
Thank you for explaining that to me.
And giving up all the information. And even though you got everything wrong on the test, you gave us all the information that we needed. So thanks for that. What was the point of getting everything wrong?
Here's
Hey.
the thing. Here's the thing.
That they want that she's not force sensitive. Is he watching?
Yeah.
Is he watching? Holy shit! Like the witches told her fail the test, so then they don't take you away. They didn't. They should have told her, "Hey, don't tell
couldn't-
them what
You
she's
couldn't
we're
you
doing
couldn't
here."
tell
But
by the way he couldn't tell by the way she was answering the questions about what's on whatever the computer thing. The way she was answering is like space. Like by the way, the tone of the word spaceship too. Like the tone too.
yeah. Well, they knew because then they sit down and talk about it. But his
Yeah.
point here makes no sense. It's like, yeah, I guess the mom should have told them, "Hey, don't tell them what the fuck we're doing here, right?" But I guess it doesn't. I mean, that doesn't even matter. The whole point is fail the test so you don't get taken away by the Jedi. That's it. You can tell them, hey, we're doing Timbuktu and whatever, fuck, right? But like, don't just make sure you fail the test. That was the point,
I think what worries Soul is when like May says sacrifice. Like
right?
usually it's not a good thing. Sacrifice. Like
Yeah, the way she said that was creepy. It was weird.
yeah.
Was instructed to fail. I would like to try a different approach with the other child.
You may.
There are other
You
children
may.
there.
Thousands like us.
Come on now. Hey.
I want to be a Jedi.
Then you must have the courage to tell the truth.
We should continue the test.
We saw all this already. It's like there's a lot of it.
A planet.
Correct.
So what? But they let her go out of the order so easily. Do we find that out? Same answer, just let the planet swirl around? Come on. Don't you do it.
What was he saying?
You may be their mother, but
What?
you are also our leader.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
Making
this
a
scene
leading
was kind of
decision.
stupid.
Right now, I choose mother.
Right. Oh. Okay, so she's losing her shit. She runs through.
Because again, we don't even know what the witches were trying to do with the girls.
The elevator's been disabled.
You can't go. We're stuck here now.
Oh, she can see that. You can see that.
Yeah, it's kind of proves my point that the Manny stuff was the most intriguing. I'm sorry. I think people are gonna lose their minds. I'm bored.
Yeah, I can tell. You can tell.
I don't care about this twin stuff.
There's no way that we can land the ship there. If I can get close enough, do you think you can make the jump?
I think he said yes. Which is
Get
You
everyone
think
in the
he said yes?
Prepare for battle.
yeah, and I'm gonna burn everybody. And I'm telling you, I told myself I was gonna bang my head into the table if she turns out to be the Sith. Burning it down. Just burning it down. And then they realize she goofed. Oh, sets it on fire by accident. Well, had a second thought. Too late. Just stares at it. Backs up slowly.
Good
And-
lord.
Ready.
We did need a break from his
M&Ms
face, so
for all fun
it's okay.
kind.
Oh, back to his face.
Come on.
Is this actually a
Wait, how did
review? I
everybody
don't think
die?
it is.
Oh, that's from the cup. This is not
a
from
review.
the it's Carrie Ann Moss, I guess. Okay.
This should be illegal. They should,
Yeah,
or
I
this
wish-
should break
I want
TOS. I
both
mean,
of
I
you.
should say.
Yeah.
Trinity.
Because it's like you're just sitting there showing clips. Like you're pretty much. This not.
This is
I
basically the same
wouldn't say this
episode.
is. It's not really
Episode
fair
3.
use,
A
man.
couple
Like
more
someone could
things we
just
get the
watch
reveal of
this
it.
and
Now we
then
have one episode left. I
they don't
told
need
you
to watch the episode.
told you that the other witch was going to wind up being the other set. Told you. And if you get that whole thing of what, I think OSHA said when we were talking about when she was watching the stranger fighting, oh, my mother used to be able to do that. So that's going to be the Sith reveal. But this is what
But here's the thing.
Yeah, we still don't know that though.
But the thing he forgot to say. Did you forget episode 6 when Qimir said his former master was a Jedi too?
Yeah.
So how could that? So and then it also said my mother used to do that. But when the mother have to become a Jedi to do that?
No, that's what OSHA said. OSHA said the trick that he used of like getting in your mind. She was like, "Oh, that was like my mother."
Yeah, because the Jedi
But I
could
think
do
we
that.
showed that though. Yeah,
Jedis
but the
could do
Jedi
that.
can do that.
Yeah.
But
The mothers could do that
because the thing
Force.
is, well, and also yeah, they have that smoke power or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I mean, I still think that's a possible theory. I don't think if there is a second season, I think that would be shown in the second season. I don't think we're gonna see that in this season.
Yeah. Look at this. This is a great pic. Excuse me for a second. I gotta take a pic of this. I'm gonna take a snipping tool. You have to admit this is a great pic. There, it's saved. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is accidental, by the way. I mean, I wanted to stop. I didn't want to like.
I'm saying about this show. This is what I'm saying about this show. The last episode, the one that I dug because, the stuff that I dug about the last episode was when they pitched the show in 2020. It was the inner workings of the Sith and the emergence of the Sith and watching, and that's what everyone seemed this was going to be. The dark side kind of leading the way, and this was the first show where the dark side was leading the way. And the last episode was about that and the idea of the training now of Osha. And then we go back to this again. The whole episode is this backstory of the whole episode is the backstory. And we saw a lot of it already. And then it basically just, the show's so predictable.
We said, like, why are they doing the backstory episode in episode 3 so early? It makes sense now. Right, in episode 7, it makes sense now why they did episode 3 backstory early. As a different point of view, it makes sense. I just can't stop laughing at that pic. I think I said it to you, man.
And then the silk. That was horrible. That was horrible. I'm sorry. That was horrible. Yeah, and it's like, and I stand by it. I stand by it. It's nothing to do with the performances, but I see this whole story this whole show is about the twins, and I think it was a massive mistake. It was a massive mistake. They wanted to do the whole thing where they could have done the, again, a murder mystery. I still think taking out Jackie, took it out way too soon. Her and Saul, and the murder mystery is, and I think the witch angle is. I don't understand. I don't understand how that was the decision. When it's like it's selling a false bill of goods. The show's going to be about the Sith. The show's going to be about the evil dark side and the Acolyte. The show isn't about the Acolyte. The show should be called the Twins. And then the Jedi did bad by they tried to do the right thing with the Virgins in the Force, and the Padawan messed up. And they go to get the twins. One of them burns the house, but they're going to lie about it. Even though she did burn the house, and the other one wanted to actually go. This whole thing was messy, and and I guess the performance of maybe it was the directing in this too, but like the other witch when she's screaming, is that supposed to be intimidating? I didn't mean to, but I laughed out loud like a few different times. I went from watching that episode when the Stranger debuted. And it's just this big fight. And when I initially watched it, I probably was a little more harsh on it at the time. When I saw it, went back and said, the whole thing was a good fight sequence. But it didn't really do anything to further the plot. However, the last episode said, well, it did a little bit more to further the plot because you have the Sith. Okay, now we're playing into that Sith angle. And then they leave it, there's only one episode left. So this whole episode, this 45 or 46 minute episode, is about a story that we essentially knew with a couple more reveals that I think they thought was going to be more of the and it didn't do that. It was like, okay, well, it was clearly we knew the other mother was alive. You never saw her die, and she was leading the charge. We knew that. The one thing I will say, the things that, to be fair, in this episode that I thought did work, even though I think that we could have seen the Wookiee fighting against the Sith would have been great, but we do see him fight, and the fight sequence was awesome. It was a good fight sequence. I thought it was an unnecessary scene, but it's a good fight sequence. You got to see a little bit more Carrie-Anne Moss and her. So some of the dialogue is still not the best, but to see her wisdom and the dynamic, the stuff with the Jedi that was working there, and yeah, like what are you gonna do? I don't know. I'm so I'm so curious to what these comments are going to look like, because the last time I thought about this, I was the opposite page, and everyone's like, "You're crazy. This episode's great." Is that the same thing? Do you guys think this episode was great? And if so, what the hell was I watching? But I'm telling you right now, if you watch my spoiler reviews with Mike, you got to guarantee, and Steph's on tomorrow too, you're going to guarantee we're going to be doing this. Whoa. That was the worst. That was one of the worst things I've seen so far with these shows. Whoa. It was horrible. Not good. Not a good episode. Not a good episode. So, I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Look, I'm looking forward to Skeleton Crew. What do you want me to say? Why are you watching it still if you don't like it? Because I want to see how it finishes. Let's see how it finishes. I want to see if they do anything, mention anything with Plague. It's probably not. At this point, I don't really want them to, but or how they're going to reveal that she's the Sith Master.
Again, this whole Plague is fucking discussion. Sorry, I was looking at my phone.
What?
Like, this whole Plague is discussion, man. Like, that's all it is. It's always like, are they gonna bring in this character? Is that how they can redeem the show? Is by giving us a cameo?
Some people suggested
Lord.
Plague is in this show because the timeline kind of fits, like the timeline.
Yeah, but where is this set up? Like,
yeah,
like this is what I mean. It's always, this is the go-to for Star Wars fans. It's always like, this can be redeemed with a gulp shitty moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't actually give a shit about the story, even if it was good. It was just gonna always be about, oh, is this character going to appear? If they do, then I guess the show's better. It's like, okay, like, this is where we're at now.
Anyway, what did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Go ahead and comment. Tell me why you loved it. Tell me why you loved it, because the majority of you probably loved it and think that, I don't watch this anymore. You're a hater. Fine. But yeah, I did not like this episode. Sorry. Anyway, so that's it. If you agree with me, if you didn't agree with me, but you like this, you like me watching this, and you want to see more of the spoiler review, and
I don't. If you're gonna do a if you're gonna do a reaction to an episode, don't watch the episode first. Do it actually for your first time. That's my advice, because it's more real and genuine when you do that. Because it screams fake when you really see an episode.
Right.
It just seems fake.
Well, apparently the show, because I'm just looking at this. Apparently the show's viewership is lower than almost every other Star Wars show except for Andor. In terms of views,
Is the Mando still the highest?
so yeah, Mando season 2 has 1 billion minutes viewed. Season 3 has, basically almost 800 million. Obi-Wan has 500 million. Ahsoka has 400 million. Book of Boba Fett is like 389 million. And then Acolyte is 244 minutes. So yeah. And then Andor's 208. So yeah, I mean, personally, I think Andor's the best out of all the shows. So, but I'm not surprised. Because the thing is, it's like the way the show was marketed. I think people were. I mean, if you have Disney Plus, you would check it out. Those first 2 episodes, I didn't think were a good impression personally, but I stuck with it because I was curious.
Yeah, I think of Andor is that, like, you really know what happens to the character. He dies, and people just didn't give it interest.
Right.
That's what I. But yeah, I'm not surprised at Mandalorian.
Yeah, the Mandalorian, it had Baby Yoda, and it was the first show, and it was a big deal. Like, you're not gonna really get that again, right?
No.
And this show, it's just, I don't think it, the marketing for it, I personally think wasn't all that great. But even if people did check it out, I don't think there was a reason to stay.
No.
Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. The conversation's definitely been annoying with the show.
I blame people
And
like I blame people like Degrassi hyping us up their stuff. I'm kidding, Degrassi, for listening.
oh man, no, I wasn't fooled by anybody hyping up anything. I just, you know, gave my opinion on what I saw, and that's really it.
All right, all right. Okay, let's see what's happening. All right. What else? Well, today was a bit of a disappointment since everybody thought we are getting Captain America today.
Yeah, no Captain America, unfortunately.
It should, but today is 1 year away from Superman.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
July 11th.
Yeah, 1 year. Yep.
Well, people actually, it's not exactly a year. It is a leap year, by the way, guys.
Oh,
Yeah, 2024 is leap year. Remember, it's 29. There's 29 days of February, so it's not exactly a year. I mean, rounding it up, it is, but
right. Yeah, because today's Thursday, and
yeah,
but it comes out on Friday next year. So yeah, it's tomorrow would
yeah.
be 1 year away. I don't know. The day is the 11th, so yeah. Next
If
year we'll be
if
seeing
if
that.
if there was a day for Disney to release the Captain America trailer, it would have been Independence Day.
Yeah, oh, they should have done that, but I mean, I still think it's coming out this month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe maybe it's save for Comic-Con. I don't
Yeah,
know. You gotta hold something for Comic-Con. I mean, how many trailers are for movies there are? Can they have? There are only two movies that are in like actual production, right?
right.
Like actually were filmed or done filming or in
Well,
post.
they're done filming. Whoa, what movie are they shooting now? I don't think they're shooting a movie
None,
now.
none.
Yeah,
Because
so
Captain Fantastic Four would be the next one, but that's shooting at the end of July. So there's no only Thunderbolts and Captain America were like the last two were like in production. Like,
right,
and I think they're well Captain America's ahead of Thunderbolts, right? Because Thunderbolts is they're done filming, but they gotta do the other stuff, right? Where Captain America, I don't know how long they're doing the reshoots, but it's still enough footage. Probably have enough footage for a trailer,
right.
right? They can do post production for whatever. Yeah, they have stuff probably from the Disney Plus shows, Wonder Man, Daredevil, uh, Ironheart, probably a
Mm.
little bit of Agatha. I don't know. Um, I said I think about the shows though, and they're probably getting out some new projects.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, we'll see what happens in two
And
weeks' time.
somebody suggested earlier, and I had a stream earlier because I didn't know what Captain America was dropping. It's like somebody asked me, do you think they're gonna drop the rest of Phase 6 and Phase 7? I'm like, I don't think they're gonna do Phase 7. They're not gonna announce Phase 7 until the Multiverse Saga is over with. Remember,
Right.
because that's what they did at Comic Con 2019. Once the Infinity Saga was over with, that's when they started to announce a new phase. And in as 2019, they announced a new phase, the 4, 5, or 6 phase.
Mm.
Then, right, if I remember correctly, I think that's what they
Yeah, I
announced.
don't think they. I mean, why would they announce Phase 7? It's just that would just be
You gotta
distracting.
complete the saga. Yeah, finish the saga first, right?
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah.
Focus on what's already been announced,
And what
what could
and what
possibly work,
and what films, TV shows would be part of the conclusion of the multiverse saga, 4, 5, and 6. Then you announce at the
Mm.
Comic Con, have your last movie in Phase 6 be before Comic Con, whatever year that is, then you can announce Phase 7 at Comic-Con, whatever year that is. I think it's probably 2027, 2028, or something like that. That's when you do it. You just got to make sure you finish it before Comic-Con of 2000 something. Then, yeah. All right. Let's see what else. What's Tony doing?
Oh man.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna share. Okay, what I want to say. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.